Good morning. So today I take this opportunity to talk something about the Heart Sutra. A few weeks ago, I gave a talk in Singapore, but some of my friends called me and said they didn't understand what I mean during the talk. So I would like to give the gist in a very in a short form, try to make it clear. So in the Heart Sutra is a dialogue between the Avalokiteshvara and Shariputra. And in front of the Buddha, because Buddha was in the absorption of the perfection of the wisdom, which means that Buddha is in full absorption of the form is emptiness, emptiness is form is not other than emptiness, and emptiness is not other than form. So from the very beginning, I would like to make clear there is a word, thus I heard, which means that this is the authenticity of the Buddhism, the Buddha's teaching. Because what it states is that this is not actually what Buddha was talking, but this is actually what I heard. I may be mistakes, which means that how aware the person during the compiling of the teaching is, how aware he is. And he was saying that I may make mistake, or I may not in a condition to fully understand the Buddha. So this means it is still open for discussion, open for talk, open for experiment, open for examination. So therefore it says, this is what I heard. Buddha said this. So I made mistake. So therefore this is the authenticity of Buddhism. In every sutra there is saying, thus I heard. This means the sincerity, the authenticity. It shows how sincere the person who is in charge of the compiling the text. So now the main point here in Heart Sutra is form is emptiness and emptiness is form. Form is not other than emptiness and emptiness is not other than form. These four statements. In the first statement it says, it makes an assertion. Form is emptiness and emptiness is form. And in the later two parts, it makes a negation. Like form is not other than emptiness and emptiness is not other than form. So what these two statements, one is assertion and one is negation, shows is that these two assertion negate, avoids the two extreme, that is eternalism and nihilism, and shows the middle way, which is the emptiness. And also it shows the two truth, the absolute truth and the relative truth. Now the question arises, why do Buddha get into the absorption of form is emptiness and emptiness is form? The answer is that what Buddha says is that whatever we, the common people, in our day-to-day life, we are always clinging to our preconception. We have a lot of data in our mind stream imposed to ourselves, and whatever we see, we think, we look from our own perspective and we cling to that, which leads to the problem. So this is the problem we are always facing in our day-to-day life. So the Buddha said, see, nothing exists from its own side. Form is emptiness. Because form is emptiness means that form exists dependent upon many other factors. Form doesn't exist from its own side. But we common people perceive the things and events as if it exists from its own side. Independently and intrinsically. It's there. And here is where we make mistakes. Once we cling it to the things and events, then we are in problem. And this clinging will levelize good and bad, the feelings, good feelings and bad feelings, whatever, pleasant, unpleasant, and try to get it or try to avoid it, we get ourselves entangled more and more into the cyclical process, the vicious circle of samsara problem. So that's why we always end up into the problem. One way or another, we're always in the problem. So now what Buddha said is enough now. So we have to come out. So what Buddha says, the way things exist and the way you perceive is not corresponding to each other. So therefore you have to be free from these. Now we have to cut down this pattern, this nonsense. Because the problem is that we have been storing in our mindset a lot of information, thousands and thousands of data for thousands of years, the same pattern that is clinging or detaching, try to detach the unpleasant and try to, cling to the pleasant things. And we try to get it and we try to avoid it, it's not growing. And in the very process, we put the seed for the next residual impact for our life. That's how we suffer. So therefore, in order to come out from these things, so Buddha said, there are 5 aggregates. The pattern, how it suffers and how it works in our day-to-day life. First, the form, there comes a feelings, there comes a perception, then it comes a volitional action, and in the 5th one is the consciousness. So how it works is like, on the basis of form, we have a feeling of pain and pleasure. And feeling of pain and pleasure, on the basis of that, we have a perception of good, bad, and clinging to it. Perception of, pleasantness and unpleasantness. And on the basis of this perception, we try to get it, that is the volitional actions. We get into the actions. That is the volitional actions. Try to get the pleasant one and try to avoid the unpleasant one. But the problem is we don't get it and we're in problem. Even if we get it, it wouldn't last for long, so we are in problem. So therefore, either way, we are in problem. But the problem is, see, during the process, we are learning all this want and not want and all this, and we are trying to label this one or put information, the data in our mind stream, which will give a residual impact in our later cyclical process. And this is how Buddha said the cyclical process goes on and on. Therefore, in order to come out from this process, Buddha also taught the 5 paths: the path of accumulation, the path of preparation, the path of seeing, the path of meditation, and path of normal learning. See, now when the path of seeing comes, this is in the perception level. First is the form, feeling, and perceptions. So here we need to strike and try to break the pattern, the habitual tendency, the habitual pattern of clinging. Because Buddha said, it is not that the outer object binds you in the samsara. It is our clinging to that which binds us in the samsara. So therefore, in order to try to break this, we have to have the path of seeing. That is, the path of seeing means have a direct vision of the emptiness, the absorption of the perfection of wisdom. This is what we are talking about. And when we see that one, the perfection of wisdom, then it will tumbles down all these patterns, the negative patterns or the positive patterns, whatever, try to cling to that or try to avoid that, all dissolves. So when it dissolves, then it will not give the residual impact on the future lives of the cyclical existence. This is how we can free from this cyclical process. And after that, the meditation and the normal learning. But when it goes into the individual, then there comes a 6 senses. 6 senses corresponding to outer 6 objects, And because of these two outer six objects and six senses, we have a six consciousness, where in which again we can restore the residual impact, the seed of that, the karmic residual impact. And when we see the reality, the things form is emptiness and emptiness is form, then we have no clinging to that, and we have no detachment or attachment to it. We are going beyond that. We become in the absorption of form is emptiness and emptiness is form. Then this is how one free from that kind of clinging to that. That means we are allowing our mind, our consciousness to open up, and not allowing the habitual tendencies to put again the garbages on our mind stream. So this is how we can throw out all the garbages. All garbages we have to clean up, because what happens is, whatever the karmic residual impacts comes, it is because of our previous data, the previous life data. So see, in our mind stream, we have stored thousands and thousands of data, the information stored in the mind stream. Unless and until it gives its own truth, it will not vanish. Therefore, whatever the data we store it in the mind stream, it is bound to sprout out. It's bound to come out. So what Buddha said is, whatever is stored in the mind stream will come out. But from now, we should not give chance for the new seeds to be stored. So because here, when you have understanding, when you are fully aware of these all things happening, then you will not let your mind to support this old tendency. Then what happens is, naturally, gradually, it will dissolve. It will drop down. This is how you can get to the point of form is emptiness and emptiness is form. And later on, the Four Noble Truths also talks about the Four Noble Truths, because not Four Noble Truths also, in the understanding, in the nature of form is emptiness and emptiness is form. And in the same way, then it talks about the 12 links of dependent origination. And the first is ignorance. Because of ignorance, we committed the volitional actions. And volitional actions, we can store again this pattern, the seed, to the mind stream. And again, this will give birth to, the next karmic actions, the residual impact. And it goes on ripples, like ripples on the oceans. So see, now the karmic action, how it comes is like, you sow one seed in your mind stream. This seed will give you one tree of karmic residual impact. One tree will again give you the 1,000 seeds. 1,000 seeds will lead to the 1,000 trees. 1,000 trees will lead to the thousands, and multiply the multiplication of 1,000 trees and plants, whatever. So therefore, the negativity and the problems crop up in this cyclical process, vicious circle. It comes into the existence, and we attach to it and we detach to it, and that's how we suffer. And so then we suffer in the six cyclical existence. It talks about the six realms: God, a demigod, human being, hungry ghost, animal, and hell. So if you break this pattern, then you are out of this cyclical process. So when you are out of this cyclical process, then you enter the stream. That means enter on the path to the nirvana. This is the freedom, or free, or the freedom, or what do you say? The free from the suffering. And the first is the stream enterer, and the second is one returner, which means once, even if you enter into the path of nirvana, you may come down and fall to the six cyclical existence once. And after that, it's a non-returner. Then you have to come once, but then after that, you will never return to the cyclical existence. And the final one is the arhat. stream enterer, once returner, non-returner, and arhat. And on top is the bodhisattvas. Then on top is the Buddha. So when you finally attain Buddhahood, that is the final goal. And here in the Heart Sutra, what Buddha talks about, or in the dialogue it talks about, is it's a milestone where you reach, and from where, from which stage you are, or it talks about uh, how you can proceed further, and where you are, and up to which stage you reach, and it's very clearly stated here in the Heart Sutra. And in short, it talks about form is emptiness, emptiness is form. Form is not other than emptiness, and emptiness is not other than form. This is the main part, the gist, the essence of the Heart Sutra. And 5 aggregates, how it functions and how one get caught up into this process of cyclical existence, and how one can free oneself from the process of the cyclical existence, and how one can enter into the Buddhahood. And in the Heart Sutra mantra, there are 5 words. There's Gate Gate, Para Gate, Parasam Gate, Bodhi Soha. So 5 words which shows the milestone from first stage to second, third, fourth, and to the Buddhahood. How one can enter, or how one can proceed further for the Buddhahood. So this is all together in short Heart Sutra. So if you have any questions and doubts and whatever, you can just tell me. I will go into the detail also. This is what I'm just trying to talk to you in short, because I don't want to make you guys confused. If I talk too much, you'll get confusions. So thank you so much, and I hope it helps you understand something about the Heart Sutra. Thank you so much.